Hey everyone, good evening everyone. Welcome to yet another Career Playbook series where we talk about career challenges, we talk about opportunities for career growth, and this is LinkedIn Live, so we are all professionals here. But today we have a very special session. In today's Career Playbook series, I have a special guest, Richa, and we'll be talking about demystifying the hiring process. As professionals, we do not exactly know how hiring takes place, how corporates hire people. So, in this particular, you will realize how things happen at the other end, and you'll be able to plan your job search, your career growth path accordingly. So, today we have Richa Gandhi. Hi, Richa, and thank you so
Hi,
much for
Harshad.
joining today.
Hi, Harshad. Thanks a lot for inviting me for this platform. I mean, it's amazing to be a part of this LinkedIn Live.
Amazing. I'm Richa. Already people have joined, and already people have said waiting for the session and all that. So we have a lot of people, waiting for this. Okay, so thank you, Yeri Swami, joining before time. Thank you so much. All right, so let me just quickly introduce Richa, and I have few questions to ask Richa. But audience, if you have questions, I'm sure you will have, start commenting in the comments. I will be able to see your comments and ask Richa the questions, your questions as well. Okay. And after a couple of my questions, I'll take some of your questions as well. So let this be an interactive platform. And that's what I love about this LinkedIn Live sessions. It's not a video like a YouTube video. We get to talk to real people, right? Let me introduce Richa first. Richa Gandhi is a senior HR professional. She comes with 15 years of experience working with startups to MNCs, and her specialization is entire corporate recruitment process. She understands corporate expectations because day in day out she deals with the the senior managers, leaders who need good talent, and she also understands the nuances of interviews because she herself has to take interviews, especially at senior levels. So she also understands what people or what corporates look for when we apply for jobs, when we go for interviews. So that will be the focus of this session. Okay. uh, Richa, so let me set a context first. Okay, I'm taking the side as a career coach, I'm taking the side of professionals. Okay, because as a career coach, I meet senior and junior professionals every day. And though I help them with their job search path, I tell them what are the nuances of resume and how should they prepare for interviews. But I still feel they have a big question mark about how things happen behind the scenes. What do I mean by behind the scenes? As a professional, I know I have to apply for a job, I have to submit a resume, and suddenly I get a call someday. And then when they schedule my interview, I have to go for the interview. But honestly, there are many things happening behind the scenes, right? Just like a movie, we get to see the movie, but I'm sure there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes. So, could you tell us, when a company decides to hire, when there is an opening or they want to expand the team, since that time, what are the steps of a typical corporate hiring and recruitment process?
Great question, Harshad. So, let me tell you that I have been both the sides. I have been an interviewer as well as an interviewee, right?
Okay.
So, I completely can relate to the people out there who are the job seekers who really wants to know after the interview what happens, why they are not able to get the job. So, let me brief you about the steps, which are very, very important, which I think everybody should know. Um, so first is, as you rightly mentioned, the identification of the job role. So first, the
Yes.
job role is being, maintained. They know that they want to hire certain candidate for certain position. Now, after that, the job description is created. Now, the
Okay.
two important aspect of any job description, is the number one is basically the mandate skills. So there are few skills which are important in any resume, or in any person. And the second thing is the optional skills, whether it is there or it is not, that's perfectly fine. So job description is created, and after that, the resumes with each post, there's so many number of resumes that we get, and the screening process starts. So
Okay.
there are two levels of screening. The first level
Okay.
is looking at the resume. We understand, okay, we want to hire that candidate or we don't want to hire the candidate.
Okay.
So it is a saying that in 6 seconds, a recruiter or a hiring manager would know, looking at the resume, whether they want to go
Okay.
ahead with that resume or not.
Okay.
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 Yes.
Just 6 seconds.
So
All right.
yes, just 6 seconds. And after that, we do the basic screening, calling the candidates, maybe video call or telephonic interview, and we want to understand, whether what is there in the resume is actually the person or not. You know, so
Okay.
is it just the resume, or is it the person is having those kind of skills and proficiency or not? And
Mm-hmm.
there are certain questions, common questions that we ask. I mean, the job seekers must be knowing it when they have received the call. What is the current location? What is the current expectation? What is the salary? Currently salary that they are having. Then what are the roles and responsibilities? What kind of experience that they hold? So all these things are judged, by the first screening level of screening which happens, and then it goes to the next level, which is the hiring
Okay.
managers. So
Okay.
if it's a technical interview, then there would be a lot of technical questions, okay, asked. And if it's a logical reasoning, say kind of a profile, then they would be looking at the logical reasoning aptitude test. Okay. So after that, again, this is the interview process that usually it is followed. Okay.
Yes.
But again, it is subjective, Harshit, because there are a lot of,
Okay.
I have come across a lot of companies wherein there would be just 2 rounds. you know
Okay.
the first round would be technical and the second round would be with the CEO. So
Okay.
all these are like, they don't have any aptitude test, they don't have any skill assessment. They just want to see whether the person is cultural fit or not, and they're good
Okay.
to. Okay. And then after it is done, then the next step is, of course, I would like to tell all the job seekers out there, please get your documents right, because that is something which is utmost important. So after they are being considered hired for that position, they will ask 3 months salary slips, they would ask bank statements, they would ask the previous company's offer letter, all these things, and then they will evaluate. You said your current expectation is this much, your current salary is this much, is it mentioned in the salary slips also? Okay. And
Okay.
then the salary negotiation happens, and then the person is onboarded. That's the entire hiring process that usually it is done with the company's end. Yeah.
Yes, thanks, Richa, so much for this, because there are so many steps involved, right? And
Correct.
as a professional, when a professional submits a resume, before that, if I understand, the requirements are already set. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, looking at this, how should we write your resume, and what do we expect? What do you expect from the resume? Richa, I keep telling my uh, mentees that write your resume for the recruiter. Okay,
Correct.
let them do their job faster. So how should we do that? And what are the typical mistakes you are seeing? I mean, you just told me that you are having a hard day today. A lot of openings you filled in over last 1 week. What are the typical mistakes you feel your team also faces while judging the resumes?
Okay. So if we talk about a few things that so you want me to tell you what the mistakes that the job seekers do,
Yes,
right?
and what do you look for as well at the
Correct,
same time?
correct, correct. So, okay. So I have this resume in front of me, and when we
Okay.
fold the resume, right? So the first part, the starting. So this is the part
Yes.
wherein this is the most important. Okay. So
Okay.
we check only this much. We check only 15, 20 statements which are there, right? And how the person makes the resume is very, very important. Now, the first important thing is grammatical errors. It
Okay.
is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
most ignored part, Harshad, and
Okay.
even the people who are having an experience of 10, 20 years, if we check their resume, we find, the grammatical errors, and more than the grammatical errors, the spelling errors, right? So they will have errors in their email IDs, .com is .co, where it has to be .com, all these small, small mistakes, correct? So I think, and I'll give you a tip, Harshad, here to the all job seekers. Those, if you really want to proofread your resume, the first thing is, start reading the resume backward, you know.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
when you see, what happens is, when I'm making my resume, I know what I'm putting in the resume, right? And when we
Yes.
I overlook, obviously, when I read that resume again and again. But if you read backward, you have to read each and every word,
Okay. Yeah, that's a great hack. Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So
Yes.
this is the so first thing is grammatical errors. Please do not do any grammatical errors, because how much you are skilled, you are not there. The second thing is, everybody wants to know what you have achieved in the past organization. Is it quantifiable? You know, so say for example, recently I've come across a resume, so it actually grabbed my attention. So the person has written that I have helped company to increase their revenue by 20%
Yeah.
by reducing cost 10% and
Yeah.
getting the revenue of 1 crores. So I think that is something which actually grabs the attention, because there are numbers in it. you know
Yeah.
you can see the person has actually achieved, and there are numbers which says it. Okay, so I think this is the most important part, wherein the grammatical error should not be there. It has to be quantifiable. And third thing is, if any rewards, recognition, any patents, any honors that you have done, any certifications that any job seeker has done, please do mention it, because that is something which is a proof that yes, you are a subject matter expert. So it adds a lot
Yes.
of value to the resume. So I think these three are the major important thing. And to add on, Harshad, one thing which I would like to tell to all the job seekers out there is, when they make the resume, the roles and responsibilities needs to be in the bullet points. you know so if
Yes.
it's bullet points, easier to connect and to understand. Okay,
Yes.
and if you can sprinkle the keywords of the job description in your resume, nothing like it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what we do as a recruiter, we control F. Okay, and we write the word, and we see how many times it has been mentioned, and that's how the resume
Wow.
has been screened.
Wow.
I
Wow.
think these are the pointers which
Hmm.
needs to be taken care, while making the resume. Yeah.
It goes back to your 6 second advice, right? That
Correct.
within
Correct.
first few seconds, can you
Yeah.
grab my attention? So you talked about keywords, you talked about output and honors, and you also talked about grammatical errors, which will kind of turn you off, really, right? Which will, you will feel like, okay, this person is not worthy of going ahead, right? So
And
same.
also
Yeah.
one
Thank
more
you. Thank
point,
you so much for this.
quantifiable.
Yeah.
Quantifiable, put numbers in your resume.
Yes.
So I think that is something which is really, really important here.
Yes. All right. So I hope the audience is loving this discussion already. If you have any questions, start putting in the comments. I have a couple of more questions. I would like to take more questions from the audience. Okay. And if you are liking this already, just hit that like button below this video so that we will also know who is watching us. Right. Richa, coming to the next part of the hiring process, suppose you shortlist few and those few resumes get to the hiring manager. But before that, you do the screening call, right? Or as a, a quick phone call. What do
Correct.
you look for there? Because you're not the company yet. Okay, you're not the your hiring manager yet. What do you look for in that screening call?
So, in that screening call, first is, we have bifurcation in terms of the experience level, right?
Okay.
So, how much relevant experience the person is holding for that particular kind of a job role. And the most important thing is, do he have any idea about what company he has applied for?
Okay.
So,
Yes.
that is the most important aspect. You just pick up the call and you talk, right? But then when you ask, okay, may I know for which company you have applied and for which I'm calling you? No answer.
Absolutely.
So I think
Wow.
that is something, I think it's a big thing, because if any person is applying for a job, two things are very, very crucial. One, you need to know in and out about the company. Okay, starting from the kind of clients that the company is having, the kind of locations that they are into, the products, the services, the kind of team that they are having. I think all these really play a very important role. And in fact, nowadays, I think social media is getting crazy. So I think if you put just a company name, you'll get all the social media related stuff. So I think that is something which, you need to be updated about the company, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
these things are very important. And also the job description, like, I mean, when we call, the confidence level with which the person is talking, I
Yes.
think that is very important. So
Yes.
how you are answering the questions. So I would not say there are 820 basic questions, okay, usually which is said, okay. But in screening, any question can come in. Like, for example, if I can give a situation, okay, and the person has to answer over the call. So, is he able to talk at that particular moment? You know,
Okay.
is he
So do you
street smart?
look for those quick, let's say, communication skills pointers, basic soft skills, and I mean, the information about the company he or she has applied for, and kind of cross check the resume? Probably what he has written on the resume is the same what that person is
So,
saying over the call.
what
Does
happens
it happen,
usually?
Richa, that people write on the resume and they forget about it, and during the call they say something else?
So, 70% of the time, Harshad, you know.
Okay.
I think a lot of time it happens that when I have, like, I've spoken. So we have double triple screening process. Okay. So when the resume comes, and I'll have a call with that person, and I'll ask that person, okay, uh, what is the time that you have joined this company? I'll tell the company name, and he would say some other year. Okay.
Hmm.
And the person don't have idea that these numbers needs to be there in the mind. If I ask him, okay, MBA kabhi kiya? Some other date, some other year, you know so I think these things really matters a lot, you know plus the experience level. Now I'll tell you how we screen the experience level. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if suppose I'm like, hiring, or I'm calling a person for say, a graphic designer.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing I would ask is, do you have the portfolio in Behance?
Okay.
Okay. So if the person says, I don't have, perfectly fine, no problem. What tools have you used? Okay. So if the person is not able to tell me the tools, it means doesn't have an experience, you know. So I think these small things, quick questions. Okay. And we tell the clients, give us a question, give us 10 questions which we can ask over the call.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
And we
Yeah.
ask those questions and we screen. That's how we do. So my point to make over here is to all the job seekers out there: if you are attending any telephonic interview, be prepared. Be prepared with your technical know-hows, be prepared with the company profile, be prepared with the job description that you've applied for, and also be prepared of any technical aspect, which is related to that. Any question comes around and you'll be able to answer.
And what you have written on your own resume. I think that is the foundation, right? I
Yes.
think you should be
We need to
prepared with
know.
what you have written
Correct.
on your resume. I just have a related question to this. Uh, Many times my mentees get inbound calls, means they haven't applied for a job. Just because the way their LinkedIn profile works or the way their resume works on job portals, I mean, you find them, right? Basically in your
Correct.
search. And
Yeah.
experiences many times they do not get to know who is the company. Sometimes you tend to not tell about that immediately, or they do not know the job description. At such cases, what are the quick pointers you would like to give to job seekers, because that call comes suddenly? Okay.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, they are not
Mhm.
prepared for that interview yet.
But do they know that they have applied for the job?
No, right? Sometimes, like sometimes directly the message or the call comes, something like this. So they sometimes are not very
So,
knowledgeable about the job description. In
Mhm.
that case, do you look for basic things on your resume? Basically, you have found a resume
So,
from a job portal, and then does it
okay.
match with the person?
Yes, yes. So basically, like, we see the job description and we see the resume, the keywords are matching or not. Once that is matching, we call the candidate. Okay. As you rightly mentioned, they might not know that we are calling. Hmm? And in that
Yes.
case, we have to have a very good conversation, and even the candidate has to have a very good conversation with us. Okay. Because this is an
Okay.
opportunity. Okay. It's an
Hmm.
opportunity call,
Hmm.
right? So they are free to ask any question regarding the company, regarding the job profile, regarding the
Yeah.
salary
Yeah.
that they are offering, regarding anything, right? So I think that is like, be yourself and ask questions. I think we are here to give jobs, so might as well, we would be, and in fact we like the candidate who asks the questions,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that
Yeah.
shows how much serious a person is
Yes.
for that job role.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so
Yes. Great.
that's
Great.
the
So
most important thing.
candidates are also or should ask the questions about the company, about the job description, and then have a conversation. And if I, let's say, as a professional, I get to know something, I can then present myself accordingly, right? Okay, you
Yeah.
said this is the job role. This is what I have done in the past, or this is what I bring to the table. I think let it be a conversation. What I tell
Yes.
my mentees is that let it not be that they are shooting bullets at you like a viva, college viva. I think sometimes they still remember college viva. Okay, where it is just
Correct,
question
correct, correct.
answers.
Yeah.
Let it be a conversation.
And ask about the company. I mean, we have come across a lot of calls wherein we have
Hmm.
completely, in fact, deliberately we do that. Okay. We have not told anything about the company, and they also don't ask. And when we tell them,
Yes.
okay, are you available for the interview? They say, yeah, I'm available. And they actually attend the calls of the interview also.
Yeah.
So I think,
That's what I meant.
few
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think they should
things.
take ownership
Yeah,
of asking the questions also. It's not like always your job to figure out what they want. Yeah, absolutely. I think there should be a conversation.
correct,
Absolutely.
correct.
Great. Ria, we already have questions coming. Guys, keep putting your questions, audience. I have one more question, and then I will take your questions. I'll again go back to my questions. Let's have a conversation. Okay. Uh, Richa, before we move into audience question, obviously the next round is the hiring managers interviews. What do they look for? If you can quick, because now it's already filtered candidates. Okay,
Hmm.
but still, as you said, sometimes they have not gone prepared with the company. They have not. What else? What else are typical mistakes apart from, of course, technical questions are different because they have to be technically sound. But
Hmm.
apart from that, what are the typical things you would like to tell job seekers to avoid or to improve upon?
Correct. So during the interview process, you're talking about Harshit, right? You want me to
Yes.
talk about?
Now,
Correct.
the company interviews, let's say the hiring managers
Correct.
and for HR, maybe company HR round as well, probably.
Sure, sure, sure. So, like, when first thing is like, read about the job description about the company. And when you're going for the interview, I think the most important, I want to make this point is uh, grooming and attire is very, very important. Okay.
Okay.
And I think, we have rejected a lot of candidates because the person wasn't presentable at all. Okay,
Wow.
so I
Okay.
think this is something which needs to be taken care. Okay. Secondly, is very important aspect is when you're talking about a company, your previous company. Okay, you have to tell positive about it,
Okay.
because that shows how much adaptable you are. That shows, are you really valuing the learnings of your past company, or you are
Yes.
telling, that I had a very bad boss.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
I did not learn anything. It was a waste. So I think these things really, pinpoint what kind of a person are you.
It shows the maturity of that professional also, right? If at the
Exactly.
interviews, if he's complaining about his old boss, I think that person doesn't even understand what to say, when to say, right? The
Correct.
situation, it doesn't, you're not talking to a friend, let's say, complaining about the boss, right? This is a different situation, so
Yes.
it shows the maturity. And I think more
Yes.
and more jobs need this interpersonal skills, understanding the situation, and even dealing with people. So if that person doesn't show that maturity, obviously, at the later stage, similar will come out during the job as well, right?
Correct. Correct.
um
Correct. So I
Richa,
think.
related question: soft skills are difficult to judge, impossible to assess using an assessment. Do you think such behavioral parameters are judged more for soft skills judgments?
I think yes. I think, when we talk about soft skills, I personally believe, Harshad, here that it is not difficult to judge. Okay,
Okay.
so uh, if a person is sitting in front of me, with his body language I can understand how much serious he is. Okay, the kind of communication that the person is doing, I mean, I'm not talking about here language that way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the kind of confidence, I mean, we can look into the person and we can see that the person is bragging or he's actually honest about his things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whatever he has mentioned in the resume. Okay. And also, the most important thing is the person honesty. So there
Yeah.
has been a lot of times wherein, coming back to your question that during the interview. So if you don't know anything, be honest that I don't know about it, but I'm ready to learn. I think that is
Mm.
something which really, really, grabs the attention. Okay.
Wow.
Because
Mm.
ultimately, if you say that I know everything, the interviewer
Mm.
is sitting in front of you. He know better than you. So he might ask another question which might not, you might not know, you know. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that is the utmost important thing, I think, needs to be taken care.
And if you say, when you say you don't know something, you get the chance of deviating that topic altogether, right? And maybe
Yeah.
talking about some, or taking that interview to some topic which you do know,
Yeah.
right? If
Correct.
you say
True.
yes, then the next question will be on the same topic. I
True,
think
true, true,
it
true.
will be
Yes,
even
yes.
worse
Yes.
than the previous case. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks, Richa, for all these. And now audience has already asked the questions. Let me take those questions also. Before we jump into questions, I think if you are, you know, uh, for the for the people who do hire, who are leaders, who are managers, if you would like to engage with Richa for your corporate hiring, you just have to ping her on LinkedIn. Okay, DM Richa on LinkedIn. And though job seekers, on the other hand, uh, there is a free course on my LinkedIn profile. Okay, so after this session, go to our LinkedIn profiles and DM us, or for on my LinkedIn profile, you will be able to quickly get onboarded to this job search game plan course, in which many of these things, resume part, LinkedIn part, as well as many things are covered in a quick, like less than 1 hour. You will get the overview of the game plan I teach to my mentees as well. Okay, so let's start taking questions as well in the order, Richa. First question, let me read out for you. Priyanka is asking, why do we not get many interview calls despite having relevant skills and vast experience? Right? Um, Richa, let me answer this. Okay, let me put it on me, because you have also already told what you are looking for. Okay. Priyanka, let me tell you, and this is where my mentees also struggle when they start their journey, that they don't get any interview call. See, let me say, Richa will find you first when your resume is written for the kinds of jobs you are perfect for. So, we talked about keywords as well. Are you using the right keywords? If you're talking about LinkedIn, is your LinkedIn profile optimized for your target jobs, target industry? Otherwise, in recharge search, your profile will never appear. That is one. Second, if you're applying for some jobs, then Richa gets so many applications. Okay, why she will pick you and call you? Again, the same rule. Are you exciting her in the next first 6 seconds in the half top of the resume? Are you telling the results in the experience section? Are you the control F method? Are you showing the keywords? So, Priyanka, please understand, on your side, yes, you have the capabilities, absolutely. But on Richa's side, she has 100 other applications. And without even applying, she has database of 1 lakh applicants, because she purchases naukri.com LinkedIn's database actually. Okay, so please understand, help Richa do her job better. That's the strategy of getting more calls. Priyanka, okay, I hope it answered your question quickly. Yes, thank you for asking, Priyanka. Krishna Kant is asking, how to tackle situations like location constraint. Recruiter wants candidates to move to the city and candidate is not ready to move. How to negotiate this situation? Yes, Richa.
Okay. So, so location constraint, as in, he's asking about the person. I mean, he wants to apply for a job, or which is location constraint. if I
No,
mean
I think the
that's
question is, I mean, I'm not able to put that on screen. So let me read out
okay.
again.
Yeah.
How to tackle situation when recruiter wants candidate. So I think the
Hmm.
job description demands or the company demands a location, but
Mhm.
candidate is not ready to move to that location.
Okay. So
How do you?
we,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think we need to find out another candidate who is nearby to that location. Number one. Number two is if really we want that kind of a candidate, correct? So I think, I mean, location constraint cannot be changed because a person, I mean, these days companies are looking out for a candidate who stays nearby because of the attrition. Okay.
Yes.
They feel if the candidate is staying little far, I mean, let me ask you this, Harshad. I mean, if you are staying in, say, around Baner in Pune, okay, and if I tell you come and work in Koregaon Park, how many days you will be able to do it? You know, so that's not humanly possible. Okay, either the person has to take care of the relocation, okay, and there are a lot of companies who reimburse, right? So they will, give you 15-20 days grace and they will pay for that. There are a lot of
Sure.
companies who does that, right? So you start applying for a company maybe which is nearby to your location, or we have to have a relocation cost. See the company who gives you the relocation cost, or maybe relocate. That's the only option that we have, because that's where company wants that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Richa, location is the fundamental constraint, right? I think before
Correct.
applying for jobs, I think if you are not sure of location, I think you are the wrong candidate anyway. Unless you are so valuable, so unique, so so important that company makes a special case for you. But yes, I have seen Richa, my mentees getting relocation bonus, or even
Yes.
let's say one of my mentee, like the school, let's say they could get admission into that location. Company helped that person to
Yes, yes, yes,
relocate
yes, we do
faster
that.
because people, not just the location, people have families to look after, so they did that actually. Okay, so but again, it's all about
It is
showing that
subjective,
you will
it is
join.
subjective. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it is subjective. Yes, yes,
And also
yes.
I'll tell you, like here, we look at candidates who are in the vicinity of 7 kilometers. We don't go beyond that.
Okay,
So
within the
that's our
city as well,
screening.
Richa?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if suppose I'm in Koregaon Park, I would see somebody who is near to Koregaon Park 7 kilometers, not beyond that.
Wow, wow. Okay,
So
okay.
that's a criteria. And if
I
people are
thought
not
I
able,
Krishnakant was more asking from city constraint, but I think within the city also you would like to see if
yes,
people can travel. Yeah, I think that can happen. I mean, again, guys, let's look at this way. Companies also look for people who will
yeah,
join.
yeah,
Companies look for people who will stay. Please understand all these things. uh, and as a manager, you would like your team members to be like that, think like that as well. Right? I mean, you would like people to come to office every day if that is the constraint. And Richa, we keep talking about remote work, but there are many jobs and there are many industries which it is absolutely not possible as well. And I think there is needs to be balance, looking at both the sides, right? On the candidate side or on the professional side, yes, it gives flexibility, but on the company side, you also have to look at the productivity part of it. So it's a both ways.
Mhm. So I
Yes,
think a lot of companies
yes,
going ahead with the hybrid model here. Okay,
yes,
so, it's the midway. So even if the candidate, so answering your question again, Krishnakant. So I think if the location is a concern, go for an hybrid model. Talk to the company
yes.
and tell him, okay, I will come 2 days a week. I think a lot of companies are going ahead with it. And if
Wow.
the talent is there, I think they are okay to compromise on that also because they
Mm,
don't want to
mm,
lose
mm.
out on good talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Showcase your talent first and then
yeah,
let company
correct.
let then negotiate, right? First, I think Richard
Mhm.
is obvious, right? First, company has to want you,
Yeah.
right? I
True.
think then there is a possibility of
True.
bending the rules as well for you.
True.
Of course,
True.
that is always the case. Yes, thanks, Krishnakant, for asking this question. Did you get some pointers? Type yes in the comments so that we'll know. And we'll move to the next question. Ananta is asking, once the interview is over, how can we follow up and what is the process? I think is a great question. As a
Correct.
professional, what happens is that we do not know the status, we do not know how much time it is going to take. And I think, Richa, you have other candidates, or sometimes it puts on hold, the process gets put on hold by the company. So there's always a big confusion and uncertainty in the job seeker's mind. How
Correct,
do we
correct.
deal with that, and how do we follow up with you?
So I think it's an amazing question, Ananda. I guess, okay, so one point here I want to make to all the job seekers: when you are going for the interview for the final round, right? Or maybe any round for that matter, uh, ask questions to the interviewer. I think this is something which is an untouched area, okay?
Hmm?
Because neither the interviewer says, okay, do you have any question for me? And neither we ask. Okay, so if the interviewer is not asking, you can go ahead and ask, that and the best question to ask is, uh, do you need any references?
Okay.
I think you would get the answer. If he says yes, it means the further process is starting. Okay, and if he
Okay.
says I'll get back to you, it means getting back is 20-30% getting back, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
uh, that again is very very important point. And follow up, I mean, if you're going ahead with the interview, if it's a recruiter or a consultancy, okay, after the interview, usually the consultancy will get back to you and tell you, okay, you have been selected for the next round or not. But keep the follow up on, in the sense, call that person again next day, okay, and try to know what is the status. If you don't hear from them, it means it's a reject. Because if we see from the consultancy's angle, okay, uh, we will follow with the candidate who is actually selected or going for the next round. We don't want to lose
Of
out.
course. Of course.
Okay, so we will
Yeah.
update immediately. Okay, if not, it means somewhere either it's on hold, either it's a rejection, or either it's not positive. Like, let me put it that way. So you have all the time to actually call the candidate, call the recruiter, and follow up. What is my status? You know, and one important thing: try to know the person who is interviewing you.
Hmm?
Okay,
Hmm?
connect with
Yeah.
him, the social media platforms. Okay, usually talk to him, and maybe he might not remember, but then later on, even if you don't get a job, it's perfectly fine, but you create a connect, and that's a
Yeah.
good way to follow up. He would remember you. Okay, you have come down for the interview, and that's how it happens. So I think that's also a great way to do the follow up after the interview is done.
Absolutely. So during the interview, ask the question. I think you
Yeah.
have given us a great question. And looking at the first impression on the face of the interviewer, right? If he immediately says yes for references, then great. Otherwise, it's just fumbles. The interviewer
Yes.
fumbles. You kind of
Yes.
know that it's not a great chance. But of course, do follow up. And
Yeah.
just a related question, Richa, because you talked about the interviewer or the hiring manager and the consultancy, the recruiter, both are involved, let's say, because it's later stages of the interviewing process. Whom to follow up with?
Consultancy. If you're
Okay.
going through a consultancy, I think that's the best way. Okay, if
Yes.
not, if a lot of times direct hiring manager calls the candidate. So I think, the main important point is you should know the name of the person. Okay, so that later on, a lot of time, when you call the borderline number, you know so the person will not connect to you until as you know the name of the HR. So
Yeah.
how will you do the follow up? So you need to know who is interviewing you, what is the position, okay, uh, he is sitting on, okay, so that later on for the follow up it helps. And if it's consultancies in between, I think you have all the right to ask us, what happened to my job application.
Is that another question we can ask during the interview? That what is the next step in this process? Because
Yes,
as you said,
correct.
all companies have different processes and they
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
changing
yeah.
also, right? Depending on the
Correct, correct.
position, they can have
Yes,
another
yes.
interview round if they are not sure. If there is a cross-functional role, they will have some other department also get involved. So we can ask this question.
We can ask the question, what is the next step? So he might tell you the next step, but you don't know whether you will be applied for the next step or not.
Yes, but at least you know what's to expect, and then maybe go back to the, as you said, recruiter or the
Correct,
hiring
correct.
manager asking about the next step. Like,
So there are two, three
yes,
questions. One more thing that a job seeker can ask, that when can I hear from you next?
yes,
Okay. or the hiring manager is going to, or the from whom I will hear. That is again a question.
And I would like to just point here.
Sorry.
I think what Richa said is, when can I hear back? So you get the timeline. See, sometimes the
Correct.
positions are closed faster if it's an urgent hiring, or a client is waiting, or all that. Sometimes some positions at senior level are not closed very fast, right? They take some time. They want
Rightly
to have
said.
more candidates, or they would like to have multiple interview rounds, or the budgets is not clear, or they sometimes wait for even next quarter to get the budget approved and then start the thing, like that. Richa, I think it's good to have the patient follow up as well. So what I tell my mentees is that uh, immediately after the interview, within 2 3 days, you can follow up. But after that, don't follow up every day or every other day.
Yes.
Maybe once a week, something
Correct.
like this. Every Monday to Monday, Tuesday to Tuesday, something like this, right? And
And
to the job seekers, even you can make a tracker of the interview. See, I think, if I mean, Ananta, you are in Career Champions Club, so you would know. Sometimes you get so many interview calls that you forget, actually, because many of them are screening calls. You note down in the tracker when did that call happen, so you know when to follow up. Otherwise one day you get suddenly tense, oh kuch nahi ho raha hai, and then you follow up with everyone. Let's not do that.
correct.
I think let's be more uh, process oriented towards that.
And Harshad, I want to
Yes.
add one more point here, that when it comes to follow up, usually what happens is, when we call a candidate for, or a HR calls a candidate for a basic screening, or for the technical round, for example, save the number of the person who
Okay.
called you. So I think this is not done.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah.
they don't save. So when you don't save, you can't do the follow up. You can't get back. You know. So I think again this is
And
important.
even worse, you would call someone for and ask about another company, like that. So you save with the company name and the person name as well.
Correct. Correct.
Yes. So great question, Ananta. A lot of discussion on follow up. So I hope you got a lot of pointers, Ananta. Thank you so much for asking this. Ramchandra is asking, does over experience impact of getting a job? I think Richa is another great question.
Yes.
Many professionals face, because you're looking for 10 12 years. Sometimes the job description says 6 7 to 12 or something, but I have more x number of years of experience. But as a candidate, Ramchandra might be okay with that role. So does it impact? Do you not like these candidates, or what does it happen? How
Okay.
does it happen?
Amazing question again, and a lot of pointers can come here also. I think when we talk about the experience, okay, there are two aspects to it. One is total experience, and other is relevant experience. Okay,
Hmm.
and third is skills experience. Okay,
Okay.
so like for example, if somebody is having 16 years of experience, okay, relevant might be 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And if I'm looking out for a candidate, say I'm looking out for a candidate in Azure, okay, having 3 years of experience, I would not mind hiring a candidate having 10 years of experience, but relevant 3 years of experience in my budget. So I
Sure,
think
sure.
more than the experience level, I think relevant experiences matters. And if it's an IT profile, or say technical profile, I think each skill experience matters more than the overall
Okay.
experience. One. Second is, if it is in my budget, okay, then I think we are good to go. So if and specifically it happens in non-IT, Harshad. You know,
Yes.
so if anybody is having an experience of 16 years and it's sitting in my budget, I'll be happy to hire him.
Okay.
Okay, but in usually in technical things, they are pretty, for them, experience matters, but at the same time, they have proper budget with proper experience. So in that case, you can't go here and there. You have to
Which is just
apply
a
these kinds of jobs.
related thing. It also about how the resume is written. For example, it is just 16 years and you are looking for 12 years experience. So gap
Correct.
is not high. But if resume is written in a way that it looks like a junior candidate, you may not like the way it is written, because you may feel he or she is not matured. That, it's not number of years also, right? It's the maturity of the candidate. I mean, for example, let's say at a junior level you can say I'm good at communicating, but at 16 years you should say I'm good at negotiation. there's a difference in the maturity of the same skill,
Sure,
right?
sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
So, Ramchandra,
Agree.
I think coming to you, you have to look at, does your resume sound like a 16 years experience, or is it just is it just the dates and years are adding up to 16? Okay, and I think, and Richa, you would not accept Ramchandra for a 7 years experience level, right? It should be
Of
like
course, of course,
closer
of
to
course.
that.
It has. So, 10 to 11, 12, it's fine. But 7 to 15, it's too much of a gap. Okay.
Yes,
Which cannot be bridged. So, how much you try to, convince a recruiter or an hiring manager, your experience level would be that much only. Right. So, you can't change
yes,
that. Yeah.
yes. Makes sense. Total makes sense. Yes. Uh, a relevant question, Vijay. I have attended interview and interview went well. They informed me that one final round is with HR. After that, I didn't get any call. Why is it like that? So, Richa, Vijay is asking a very particular question, but let me kind of generalize this question. It is a typical complaint from professionals towards you that you said something and it didn't happen later. Let me generalize it, right? That there will be one more round and it didn't happen, and we tried to follow up and there was no answer. So, what do we tell? What do you tell to these professionals, and how should they deal with this in a better way?
Okay. Amazing question, Harshit. I think the most important aspect over here is we
All the
need to understand.
complaints are going to come now, Richa, okay, towards you. Now, so far they have been nice, I think, audience. Now,
So I'll tell
all the
you,
complaints.
if every job seeker is expecting, that we should call and inform, okay, your HR round is, see, first important thing is, uh, if the HR round has not happened, it means there are two aspects, okay. Either they are looking out for other candidate, who
Yes.
is equivalent to you. That's why they are buying time. Whether
Okay.
it's me or whether it's a hiring manager or anywhere, okay, they would need to have choices. With
Okay.
one resume they will not hire. So if that is the case, okay, the probability of so wait for 1 or 2 days, not more than that, okay, or maximum a week if it's an MNC, right?
Okay.
So if you're not able to hear from them within a week, it means 70% is on hold. Either the position has got on hold, because that is also a
Mm.
criteria, right? A lot of times
Yes.
you apply for a job, and and then you feel all the rounds are done. Now HR round is pending. I'm halfway through. In fact, I'm almost through, right? And then one fine day you don't get a calls. It's been 1 week, 2 week, 3 week. You don't get a call, and then later you realize somebody is already hired for that position.
Yes.
Okay, that is a generic thing which happens because everybody needs choices. Okay,
Yes.
so if you're not able to hear from them in 1 week, it means it's on hold. The position, there are few probabilities, okay, that it's on hold, or they have hired someone uh, who might be better than you, okay, in a better budget, okay, and better experience level. Yeah, so these are the only two possibilities.
Yes.
And we as a recruiter can't call everybody and tell them, okay, you're on hold, because we also feel, you know uh,
Yes.
they might be, we might also hear something for you from them, so we want to also keep on hold till the client keep on hold. That's how we work.
Yes. And Richa, just one more thing happens where one person gets selected. Recently, it happened with one of my mentees that he got a call back. I mean, call back in sense, interview had happened, but final round happened 1.5 months later. Suddenly, he got a call. In such cases, I think the recruiter might have put this person on hold, but the other person who got selected probably didn't join or got rejected later or whatever, and that person selected the next person, right? Like that, right? So sometimes you don't want to reject people because just in case you may need more applicants later. And in this case, Richa, follow-ups mattered. He was
Correct,
following up with this recruiter, so probably he was the first person to get called actually because of the follow-ups as well, right?
correct, correct.
I think
Yeah.
to the job seekers and Vijay, let me tell you, there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Okay, the position is on hold, the budget is on hold, there are two more candidates which are on hold. You are not the first, you are second or third in the order of selection, or one more round is taking place, some quarterly budgets are on hold, like that. Many things are happening. Recruiters tend want to give feedback, but it sometimes is not possible, or they sometimes do not want to reject people just in case they need it later, right? So there are
Correct.
many uncertainties. Here I would like to tell job seekers, I think from your side, just aim at getting multiple calls. I keep on telling all my mentees, if you depend on one golden, someone called me finally, I think your anyway is chances 10%. Okay. Just as a job seeker, get into habit of generating and following up with multiple people, and it will of course have some calls you will not be relevant. It was in some calls you will get rejected after screening call, but let it work out, right? I mean, it should be a kind of engine working for you, right? It should be like a continuous process working for you. Oh, I'm getting one call every day, and it is possible. Okay, I have mentees who have 17, 20 years of experience, and they have been giving 10, 12, 15 interviews, okay, for, I mean, different companies. It is possible if you just get the, I mean, Richa has pointed out so many things to get resume right, to get through interviews right. Just generate more calls. uh Nikhil is saying, is it possible to review my resume live? No, Nikhil, it's not. I mean, I think you have got multiple pointers from Richa, but anyway, thanks. Anjali is saying, once we get selected, company doesn't send offer letter and delay. How to deal with that? So now, Richa, I think it's a great question, because now we looked at many aspects of interviews and putting on hold. Now she has got the selection, but still the offer letter is not released. Let's look at
So,
the final
okay,
sections of the hiring process.
correct, correct. So, two aspects to it. One is, if she is expecting an offer letter, is she a immediate joiner? Okay.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing that we look. Okay. So to tell
Okay.
you, all the job seekers out there and all the hiring managers there, we only deal with immediate joiners. Okay. So the
Okay.
main reason to it is, if the candidate is having an notice period of 1 month, 2 month, 3 month down the line, and after COVID, this situation has started coming in. When we send the offer letter, 70% nahi, in fact 90% of the candidate don't join.
Okay. Don't
I
end
don't
up
know.
joining after 1 month, right? Basically, you are saying after the
Yes.
notice period
So,
ends.
correct.
Yes.
So the reason being, I mean, I'm not saying against anybody or even the candidate. I mean, according to them, it's right, because even they need choices. Candidate also need choices, right?
Yes.
So they will be applying for multiple positions, and say I have applied for four positions, okay, four companies, okay, and I'm getting an offer letter from one, but I'll be waiting for the other three. Correct.
Yes.
So that's the reason. And then the best offers, I'll join there. And what happens from the recruiter's point of view, the recruiter will keep on waiting. Okay, Anjali will join, Anjali will join, Anjali will join, right? So, and then, boom.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
reason this. Um, so usually I tell all my clients, uh, you know, we have to send the letter of intent from the company's email ID. Okay. So when you said that you have been selected and you did not receive the offer letter, right? So it is because they have little hesitance. They are hesitant whether you'll be joining or not, or you
Okay.
have a notice period to serve. Okay. And maybe they have other people. Okay. Also, so there are a lot of aspects to it. Okay. So I tell my clients, send letter of intent from the HR email ID saying that you have been confirmed for so and so position. Okay. And your joining date would be so and so. So that it is better.
Okay.
It is a kind of offer letter, but then not an official offer letter. Okay. So
Okay.
that is sent as a confirmation mail. And with that email, you can resign from the company because you have received from the mail ID of the company where you'll
Got
be
it.
hired. Okay. So I think if you have not received, there might be a lot of situations to it. You have an offer, you have a notice period to serve. They are not sure, or they want to evaluate. They might have one more person already selected, and as Harshad rightly mentioned, right, the selection happened. The person is about to join tomorrow. Okay, but I have given her also, the offer letter. I have not given. I have been selected. I have kept Anjali. Okay, but I have XYZ. He is ready to join tomorrow. If he doesn't join, I'll send the offer letter to Anjali.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can see the connection. That's how it
Yes.
happens. So
Yes.
this is a
Yes.
possibility.
Yes. Yes. So yes, Richa. I mean, there are. I mean, please understand, guys. I think let's not generalize, because, as Richa is saying, there could be so many particular company led or that situation led, and both ways. Companies want immediate joiners because people do not join after 2 3 months, and job seekers want more choices. So yes, please understand, there is always both sides to the same story, right? uh, Richa, I think this question I really liked. I think this tool is not showing us the name, but hi friend, I think your question is here. How do you look at career changes? So Richa, let me generalize this question. Could you tell us, like, we have been so far talking about, let's say, on the resume you get what you're looking for, keywords, experience and all that, but now if you get such cases where the person is career changer, but yes, I think he or she has done relevant course certifications, right? Or the person has 7 years into a different role, different industry, he or she has changed. I would like to just add here, uh, n- let me call these non-standard profiles, let's say career changers, people coming back after a long gap, women coming back after maternity break. How do, I mean, they have challenges. Okay, let me be very honest with you, they have challenges with getting calls. How do they deal with you? How should they deal with you?
Okay. Amazing question, Harshad, again. I think 20-30% of the people are relatable to this question.
Yes.
Um, so I'll tell all the job seekers out there, it's a mindset game. Okay.
Okay.
So in your mind, you have to think, I'm apt for the job. Forget about the gap that you have. I think everything starts here, and it actually affects the kind of interview that we give. Okay. And to tell you the fact, Harshad, i- uh, all the people with gap, okay, all the people with the career change are the immediate joiners. Okay.
That's a strength, right? Basically they have.
That's a strength. I mean, all the companies need those people, right? And that's a beautiful thing. And at the secondly, I would tell one more thing here. It's not just about the immediate joining, but at the same time, they would like to know if you have a gap, or be very vocal about it. Yes, I was in maternity gap. I had, I wanted to take care of my kids. That's the reason, that was my priority that time. But I've come back. I want to start my career all over again. And these are the skills which I think I have, which is relatable to the job description that you have. And I think if you have a proof, if you have a certification, if you are confident, if you can tell the interviewer, this is how I can do it, and these are the knowledge that I have, these are the extra certification that I earned in my gap, right? I was not sitting idle at home, I was doing a lot of other things, you know I think
Yes.
that's beautiful. So I think go ahead and be very vocal, be very honest about it.
So Amod is asking this question, by the way. He has commented below. So Amod, to you, basically, forget about the gap or career change. Can you convince the recruiter and hiring manager that you are perfect for the job because you have done the skills and or you have improved your skills and certifications? You were not idle, or even if you have changed the career, what are the transferable skills you bring from the previous career? And can you tell being an immediate joiner as an asset, as a strength? But more importantly, can you convince them that you are right for the part? And I mean, of course, it's not that they will immediately you will get the job, but at least you will get considered for the interviews. See, Richa should feel like the hiring manager would select you. Is a strong candidate, basically, right? Because again, let's talk about from 100 resumes, they would hardly. Richa, what is the selection ratio? I should have asked you earlier. If you really, I mean, you have one position, how many resumes you or your team has at least scanned through at the
I
top
think
to come to, and can you throw some numbers or percentages?
So I think, there we would receive per a post, we would receive around 1,000 1,000 resumes. Okay. And in
Okay.
that, yeah, and in that, all those, because there are a lot of ways, we get the resumes in.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But in the screening, we screen with the resume, as I said, seeing the resume, we see, okay, this is, we want to park it, this is what we want to go ahead with. Okay. So maybe around 50 of them we remove, and then in 50 we see the matching skill sets. Okay. We
So
see the other things.
1,000 to 50 from just cursory glance. Now in
Correct.
50, you give a little more chance to go through that resume. Yeah.
Yes. And in that, then we will call maybe 20 of them. Okay.
Yes.
And in 20, we will select five and send it to the company. That's how we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because company also do not want to take it. Guys, please understand, company's job is not to take interviews. Okay, Richa, you will know that inside the company, sometimes HR people have hard time in getting hiring managers, multiple people to get into to interviews. They are also busy sometimes.
In fact, Arshad, a lot of time it happens that we had to wait for weeks, okay, to get the technical round done from the company's end.
Okay,
And
because
as
no
you know,
one is
we
there
deal with
to
immediate
interview.
joiners, right? Huh? So
No
as
one
you
is
know, we
there to
deal with,
interview.
no one is there for the interview, because, of course, I mean, they are taking time out for the interview, which is
Yeah.
not possible when they have a lot of, workload.
Yes.
So
Yes.
again, that becomes a challenging part. And we deal with immediate joiners. So by the time
Yes.
the interview time comes, the person already got a job somewhere. So that's the challenge.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So yes, so Amod is saying thanks. Yogita is saying, while changing the career, do we need any certification? Yogita, we answered this question. You have to convince the recruiter that you are right for the part. Please understand, guys. Let me say it this. Let me say it. Job search is like selling. You have to find the person who needs you, and you have to convince that person that you are the, you are the right product. You are for that person. Please understand, they are not there to give jobs. They are there to solve their problems, their customers problems, develop new products, reduce their costs. How do you come in that picture? Please guys, please understand these basics. Yes, Yogita, I hope we have answered this question. Sneha, thanks for asking. Yes, which skills to look for? Sneha, you have to look at job descriptions. Please look at job descriptions, which role you are looking for. There are thousand others roles, right? Which one you think you're perfect for, you're more matching with your past experience. Do that. Smita, we answered this question. We never get a feedback from interview. Smita, Smichi, sorry, we answered this question. Why sometimes you do not get feedback, what happens behind the scenes. So you can actually, guys, if you have joined late, after this session ends, you can go back. I mean, you at the same link you will have the entire video. So I would really recommend you watching from the start. Some of you might have joined late. uh, we covered resume, interviews, what happens in the hiring process, follow up with recruiters, what recruiters look for, what are the typical mistakes job seekers make. A lot of that was covered in the first half of the interview before we started taking the questions. Okay, so yes, so thank you so much, Richa. It's been really, I feel rich. I mean, thank you so much, because some of the things, I'm glad that my mentees are, I hope, doing it right. But some of the things I'm sure my mentees and the audience have learned from you. Uh, Amazing, amazing. And which at the start I told you that somehow they feel like something happens from behind, and somehow suddenly I get a call, suddenly I get interviews. But there are a lot of things happen which are sometimes in recruiters control, sometimes are not, and even sometimes market, right? A lot of uncertainties these days. So let's do our best to match our skills to the requirements. So thank you so much, Richa. Guys, everyone, I hope this was useful. Just put your comments even after this session, Richa, and I will keep on replying to your comments. As I told you, you go to my LinkedIn profile, there is a free course, Job Search Game Plan. I'm going to show you in this course, in a 1 hour course, what exactly you should be doing to get number of calls and close the interviews. if you're looking for Richa's help regarding job search, as well as if you're a manager, senior manager, your leader, looking to get talent, Richa works for just in time talent, as she says on her LinkedIn profile as well. And during the session as well, she talked about immediate joiners and closing multiple openings within a few days. So ping Richa on LinkedIn. Both of us are super active on LinkedIn. Richa, isn't it? It's our second home, LinkedIn, right? So
Yes.
that's where we work. Yes, yes. Thank you, Richa, so much. And of course, everyone, you can watch this video one more time on this same link. Thank you so much, Richa.
Thank you, Harshad, and thanks all the job seekers and all the people out there. I mean, it has been amazing interacting with you, Harshad, being a host. And of course, I hope that the experience which is there, I have also learned with my experience, and I hope it has helped you in it will help you in your career. Yeah,
No, absolutely,
thank
Richa. A
you.
lot of pointers. Honestly, if someone can just take notes of this 1 hour, I think 75% of mistakes will be reduced by that person. Okay, literally, this 1 hour video is good to save maybe 1 month of job search time at least, right? That's the
Thank you.
power of these sessions. Thank you so
Sure.
much, Richa, and hoping to have you one more time soon. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Harshad. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Bye.